Your meeting is being live streamed.
That it is.
Cool. Anything else you got to add?
No, I think we're good.
All right, let's roll with it. Hello and welcome to the Warrior House podcast, where Warrior Pride lives. I'm your host, Ryan Reingart, joined by my co-host, Mike Sangster. Thank you for joining us on episode 115 of the Warrior House podcast. New Year, Sangster. If I sound a little bit rough, that's because I got sick with everybody else over the last couple of weeks, and I'm just about over it. Also, a very sad thing. It's dry January, so as I get into my usual form of having some sort of drink, I'm going to open a Verner's and drink that during the podcast because I can't have something more fun.
I choose not to participate in that, but I respect that you do, and that's okay. That because this is America and we can do that.
That's right. That's right. So New Year's, Sangster, we're into January. Uh, Before we know it, it's going to be probably the busiest time of Wayne State athletics season, which is right around January, February, when basketball is going, when swim and dive is in the thick of it. So a lot of sports coming up, but we only have those two to talk about today. But first, we got a couple of updates, just some things that have happened over the last couple of weeks, and one of them is there's a new podcast by way of the Wayne State Athletics program, and that's Warriors Weekly with Brady Beaton.
Yeah, they had a fun first episode with athletic director Erica Wallace, uh, just starting out the new year, I believe, and then the second episode that just dropped, I think today or yesterday,
Yep.
with head volleyball coach Tim Koth. Uh, Really interesting stuff. They also had uh, Kevin Breckmacher doing both like kind of the recap and look ahead with Brady in that one too. So I'm excited to see what they can do, and definitely getting more folks talking about Wayne State athletics is always a good thing.
Yeah, and they are by no means rivals to us. So like it's like you said, Sangster, it's really good that there are more people talking about it. I hope this gets more folks involved. Excuse me, more folks listening, and we're not going anywhere. We're here to run our mouths, and run they shall. We will continue to do it. So with that, we got a lot of stuff to look back on. So we're going to kind of just go a little bit, high level through a lot of these because some of the stuff has been almost a month ago. Starting out, our Wayne State men's basketball team back all the way on Saturday, December 13th, took on Lewis, and Lewis ended up winning this one by a final score of 86 to 83. Two big things I was able to see from this one. Slightly cold day from behind the arc, so leaves a little bit to be desired there, and a really rough time from the free throw line. We're gonna have a lot more on that as we get later on into some of the more recent games that have happened for the Wayne State men's basketball team. But those are two pretty big things that I noticed. That there's a reason that you put up 83 points, you expect to win, but in this case, Lewis puts up 86. You start to look at where did you leave points on the board? Oh, also defensively, what happened defensively there?
Yeah, not a great day for Wayne State defensively, certainly. It was a good day offensively for a lot of players, including Jordy Briggs with 22 points, Jotham Nowacki with 20, Carlos Paul III, and Cooper Craggs with 13 and 12 points, respectively. Uh, Again, one of those that if you play this series with Lewis maybe a couple more times during the year, if they join the GLIAC, that'd be cool. We could probably use another GLIAC team here. Uh, this is one that we probably split the season with. Maybe win it outright if we see them maybe more than twice.
It's funny. I was thinking about that earlier today. Like, wouldn't it be great if we could just add one more team so we didn't have this awkward number of teams competing right now? But whatever. We can't
Time for
always get what
you,
we
Indy,
want.
to come back.
Yeah, UND, and if not them, I would gladly accept Lewis into or Tiffin. I would take Tiffin back, I think. Tiffin's just a cool place that I'd go to.
Or hear me out, we bring Eastern, Western, Central in, and then we all move up to FCS and they come down to FCS.
Now we're talking. Let's make it happen.
Cook 'em with gas.
So So another game that happened back on December 20th, the Wayne State men's basketball team was home versus Redeemer. Redeemer is a Canadian university, college, whatever, out of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And Wayne State won this one by a final score of 103 to 46. We were around for this game. We didn't stick around for the whole game because it turned out to be
A
a
blowout.
beatdown. Everyone but W, the mascot, played in this one. Like I think we played 17 players in this one, which is very interesting because I'm pretty sure unless the rules differ at D2, you can only have 15 active players on the roster. Maybe this one falls into different rules because of international play and all of that stuff, but just something that I noticed.
Yeah, probably because it's exhibition. They don't necessarily need to follow that. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, because Wayne State played 17 players, only two players for Wayne State got into double digits, Jacoby Boos and Adam Aralt, but everybody got some share of the pie in this game.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, because Jacoby Boos and Adam Aralt are generally off the bench players. So to be able to see them get out there, get some minutes in there, and learn how to play, like that's going to come in very, very handy as we get into GLIAC play. And the bench becomes a little bit more important as you get, these games stacked on top of each other a lot. So good stuff there. Wayne State getting the win that they absolutely needed against Redeemer.
Yeah, following it up after the New Year's break on Friday, January 2nd, the Wayne State Warriors went up to Saginaw Valley State on Friday, odd game day, but kind of makes sense because of the New Year's holiday. And they lose a heartbreaker up in Cokesville Township, University Center, Michigan, 62 to 65. Uh, Definitely a game where Wayne State's team defense improved quite a bit versus some of the last games they had played earlier in December. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough to get past a pretty good Saginaw Valley team. They had come in at the end of this game. They were 8-3 and then 2-1. Wayne State had dropped to 4-5 and 1-2 in the GLIAC after this game. So two teams really close together. You're on Saginaw Valley's home court. Honestly, the way they played it, it looks like you could probably win this one at home, split that season.
Yeah, I would like to think so as well. And similar story as that game against Lewis here. Pretty bad 3-point shooting day for Wayne State, but the problem in this one, free throws. We left 10 points at the free throw line,
Yep.
and that one stinks to swallow. And I know it's easy to sum up, but it doesn't matter where you're playing, who you're playing, or what time of day it is. The free throw line is the same distance and the rim is the same size. And I know that's easy to say, but like weather elements aren't there. The game fatigue and the weight of the game is all there. But at the end of the day, regardless of where you shoot a free throw, it's a free throw. At least in my simplistic mind. But that's something we really need to figure out because, like I just said, or like you said, Saints, we lost this one by 3 points. 10 of those points we left at the line. You make a couple of those, this game is completely different.
Yep.
We maybe win this one, and we're looking at spoiler alert 3-1 in GLIAC play instead of 2-2 in GLIAC play. So, we had a chance in this one. It is exciting, and I agree with you. I think when Saginaw Valley comes to the Wayne State Fieldhouse, you feel good about the fact that we have a chance to win that game and split the series.
Yep. Yeah, Jordy Briggs here was your lead scorer. He had 15 points, but again, 1 for 10 from the 3-point line. And it really begs the question, who's going to be that second and third reliable scorer on the team right now? Uh, and this was a question I think we knew going into the season with so many transfers. It's kind of just the reality of uh, college basketball, especially in the Division II level now. A lot of guys left trying to chase opportunities at different uh, Division I schools, maybe making lateral moves to other Division II schools. Not sure what the situation is and really how you fix that beyond, you know, Wayne State has done a good job of bringing in new guys over the past couple of years to try and fill those gaps, but it's still going from a program that had relied on development and kind of a linear trajectory with guys that you knew were going to stick around to more bringing in guys that you haven't necessarily seen before. Maybe this is a team that gets better throughout January into February, hopefully into March, and that we're just seeing some early foibles in this January season right now.
Yeah, I would also think so. And yeah, you make it, Jordy Briggs being kind of our lead guy right now is very, very impressive. Because we'll continue saying like we lost three of our big guards since last season, and Jordy Briggs was that fourth guy coming in off the bench. So seeing him, show up in this one, even though he went 1 for 10 for three, still ended up getting 15 points. But Carlos Paul III absolutely makes a case for your second guy that you look to, scored 13 in this one. After that, though, some combination of Marshall Thorne, Devin Bell, Jotham Nowacki seem to be playing for that. In my mind, I'll continue to say Jotham Nowacki has a very good opportunity in front of him. And I think he could take it and really be that guy. But, Devin Bell and Marshall Thorne have shown out at some times as well. But what we're lacking is consistency. Who's consistently showing up to put up that performance that we can rely on is going to help us score points when Jordy's getting all the attention and what have you.
Right. And Jordy's certainly earned, he's done enough at Wayne State that, yeah, once in a while, everybody's going to have a stinker from the 3-point line. Problem is, a lot of guys did follow it up with stinkers from the free throw line as well. On top of not really making 3-point shots, the only other player that made more than actually your leading 3-point scorer on the day for Wayne State here was Adam Arald. He was 2 for 5. Jacoby Boost was 1 for 2, and then yeah, unfortunately Jordy Briggs was 1 for 10. Everybody else that attempted one didn't get it. So
Yeah, the bummer there. A lot of points there, but it's a bummer of a loss there, but that wasn't the end of the away trip. Wayne State after that, they were able to head up to Sault Ste. Marie and take on Lake Superior State. And this one, job of this one, Sangster, salvage the away series with a 1-1 conference season. We talk about it quite a bit, and they were able to do just that. They walk away with a 77-71 win in this one.
yeah, overall a really great game for just about everybody on the team. Again, uh, unlike that game at Saginaw Valley where it was really only the Jordy Briggs and Carlos Paul III show. This one, everybody got a chance at the ball. Jordy, Jotham, Carlos Paul III, Devin Bell, Jalen Jenkins, all of them scored double digits in this one. And big stat here, Wayne State keeps the turnovers in single digits, only 7 turnovers here. And then free throws, 75% of the line, much improved in a very difficult arena to play in. Gym, whatever. We've always said it's a big metal box. There's just enough people there to make it loud. Steve Hettinga, longtime coach there, always has his team ready to play, always gets a crowd there, especially on a day where you're having uh, Northern Michigan come to town to play hockey literally across the hall. So a big win at Lake Superior State for this team.
Yeah, and you mentioned the 75% free throw shooting percentage, and I will take that every day. That
Yep.
75% mark gets Wayne State into the top 50 of D2. Now, I know that doesn't sound impressive, but there are some other stats out there that we can look at that we're very much, highly competitive in. We get that free throw percentage up there, and we can get to the free throw line a lot with as physical as we are. Currently, though, Wayne State shooting 72.64% from the free throw line on the season. That's good enough for 117th. So, not exactly where you want to be. That 75% mark to me feels like that's what we got to be shooting for. Over that is fantastic. A little bit below that, depending on the number of free throws that you're shooting, could be a little bit concerning. And the last stat here, 13 steals and 13 personal fouls in this one. This isn't something I've really ever paid too much attention to, but this to me feels like the definition of being a pest on defense without going too far and getting the fouls. Either that or Lake Superior State was just throwing the ball away and being, uh, you know, uh, not protective of the rock, as they say. But I mean, that was a really cool one to see a very active defense in this one, again, without being over the top.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to lean towards that there because we've seen Steve Hettinga for years. He knows how to work refs. He gets agitated. Uh, and so if the refs were seeing something, they'd probably call it just because there are certain coaches out there that have that way of getting to them. But I think Wayne State did an excellent job with defense here, just enough to get Wayne State the win here.
Yeah, so that's what we got on Wayne State men's basketball team. Again, they close out with a 2-2 record here. Two of those games being in GLIAC play, ended up with a 1-1 in conference play. So, uh, you know, away weekend, decent. We'll take it. We had an opportunity to go 2-0, didn't make it happen, but we move on to our Wayne State women's basketball team. Back on December 17th, they were down at Toledo. Yes, they were taking on a D1 team. Toledo ends up winning this one by a final score of 75-63. And this isn't meant to be a jab at Wayne State production, but holy smokes, was it fantastic to see Wayne State on ESPN Plus. The lighting, the everything that goes around with the D1 production on ESPN is very, very good. And to be able to see our team in that light was very nice for me.
Yeah, looking at the game itself, really, if you take out a bad, no good. Let's just say awful second quarter by Wayne State. They have a very, very, very strong chance to win this game. Wayne State was playing lights out against Toledo in the first quarter, and just something happened in the second quarter Toledo outscored Wayne State by a huge margin. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I just remember it was a huge margin going into halftime. Some things get tweaked. Wayne State keeps it close the rest of the game. Certainly, maybe if Wayne State had played like out of their mind or Toledo just forgot how to play basketball, maybe you can overcome that deficit. But at the end of the day, Wayne State drops an exhibition match to Toledo, but I think they look good doing it.
Yeah, they did. So Wayne State actually outscored Toledo by 3 in the first quarter. Toledo outscored Wayne State by 2 points in both the third and fourth quarter. And that second quarter, we got outscored by 11. So,
Yeah.
only putting up 11 and a quarter is a little bit of a bummer. But, it just goes to show like got closer. And that fourth quarter coming down the stretch takes a lot longer with stingier defense, getting people to the free throw line, all of that. So I'll take it. I mean, that's a very, very impressive showing to me. At least three-quarters of the game was, but nonetheless, to be able to come back and, as the announcer said, give Toledo all they wanted to handle, I'll take it.
Yep. Moving on to later that same week, back in December, Wayne State comes back home to face Finley out of the GMAC, former GLIAC opponent, and they end up winning this one by 8 points, 66-58. Here you get your usual litany of Wayne State basketball players here in your top three: Gabby Luchka, Taylor Thompson, JC Tubergen, a name that we've said numerous times, but usually not always in the top three of scores. She had a good game with 13 points. Gabby Luchka, 20 points, and Taylor Thompson, 13 points as well. McKenna Ferguson, 9 points. Emily Holman, 11 points. That's definitely one of her better games this season as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if you called it out, but Taylor Thompson also got 16 rebounds in this one. So that was good for a double-double by her.
Yep.
And yeah, just an all-around fantastic showing from this team. It was a good game. I actually don't have the shooting statistics in front of me, but after all that, you win by 8. Just kind of goes to show how close some of these games can be against, especially some of these teams like Finley, that generally have a good athletics program. We'll talk about, I think, Finley a little bit here in the second half, or maybe that's next week. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But still a very good showing, and it was fantastic to be able to get to see the Wayne State women's basketball team in this one.
Yeah, I'm just looking over some of the scoring here. Really, the two teams are incredibly similar. Wayne State actually had a worse three-point shooting percentage, uh, but Finley had one less three-pointer. Uh, yeah, and only percentages wise, they're incredibly similar shooting overall. Uh, Only one more missed free throw than Wayne State did for Finley. So yeah, just two incredibly similar teams going at it, but Wayne State manages to pull out the victory here.
Yep, absolutely. So good stuff there. Wayne State then on January 2nd starts out GLIAC play in 2026 at Saginaw Valley, and Wayne State went and won by 77-39. Holy moly. Fantastic shooting performance for Wayne State. Terrible shooting for Saginaw Valley. And Wayne State continues to be very active on defense in this one, forcing 12 steals. Some of the scoring here: Taylor Thompson, Gabby Luchka, and AJ Rickley with 14, 13, and 13 points respectively. Of note, Sangster, AJ Rickley is a true freshman. This was her highest scoring game so far for Wayne State. She also net the most minutes in this one of her career so far. And I don't know exactly when she put all these points up, if she was kind of off the bench in the second half because we were so far ahead. Admittedly, I did not end up watching this one, but yeah, I mean, just a fantastic all around game. Taylor Thompson also pulled down 10 rebounds in this one, so yet another double double for her. And one last thing I want to talk about here, because I'd mentioned the free throw percentage for the men's basketball team. The women were 85% from the free throw line in this one, and they're averaging 70.66% on the season, which is good for 124th in D2. So definitely a little bit of work to do. So these 85% shooting days will definitely help pull that up. The more that we can see anything above that 70% mark is going to be good for this team.
Yeah, something interesting I just saw here when you're talking about free throws. In the second quarter, neither team attempted a free throw. Just a little fun stat there. But It's exactly what you said. It was an excellent shooting day for Wayne State. Wayne State held Saginaw Valley to 2 for 24 from the three-point arc. They held them for 12 for 57 overall. That's 8.3% and 21.1%. And on top of that, Saginaw couldn't shoot their free throws either in their own building, 13 for 19, about 68%. Uh, that is not a recipe for winning if you're the home team here. So we will gladly take that for Wayne State. Overall, just an outstanding game for them in this one.
Yeah, a really good one. And then the women's basketball team that also heads up to Sault Ste. Marie on Sunday, January 4th. And Wayne State wins this one by a final score of 74 to 70. The team of the winter continues to roll. Exactly what we like to see. And again, Sangster, we had a ton of players put up points in this one. Really good team effort here.
Yeah, I realized I did forget in this last game, Taylor Thompson also had a double-double. I think we're going to be saying that a lot this season. This Lake Superior State game, though, was incredibly interesting because you would normally expect the score from the Wayne State Saginaw Valley game to be the one in the Wayne State Lake Superior State game. Wasn't the case in this one. Maybe it was just nerves. Maybe it was just going up to Sault Ste. Marie. Maybe I don't know, but it was a closer game than you would have liked to see. From what I understood, and looking at the score, you can see it. The fourth quarter for Wayne State. Maybe if Lake Superior State was playing 41, 42 minutes, then we would have had a problem. Either way, Wayne State comes out of this one with the W. McKenna Ferguson, Taylor Thompson, and Carrington Gordon led with 20, 17, and 15 points, respectively. Unfortunately, no double-double for Taylor Thompson in this one, but it was still a very good game for her. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. She was everywhere on the stat sheet in this game.
Yeah, painted the stat sheet for that one. So good for Taylor Thompson. And I will say between Taylor Thompson and McKenna Ferguson, if they're not careful, they're going to find themselves in, up for some GLIAC accolades at the end of the season. So kind of just highlighting that the two of them are really kind of doing some damage right now, and I hope that continues. And I will say, based on what I saw on the score sheet for this one, pardon me, Lake Superior State has the approach of if we're going to beat you, it's going to be from the 3-point arc. That didn't happen. Night Lakers. Wayne State wins that one. So really good for them to come back from the away trip with two, regardless of what the final score was, doesn't matter to me. 2 wins is what matters, and that's exactly what this Wayne State women's basketball team delivered.
Yeah, and they're definitely setting up a huge match coming in this Thursday. And I think
Yep.
that we'll talk about that in the next segment. What do you think?
Yep. Sounds good to me. We'll be right back. Got to keep going on mute.
So, fun fact, Wayne State and Grand Valley are the only two undefeated in conference.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Big game.
Yeah. Scary one. Scurry. Alrighty. Anything we need for second half? Are we good? I don't really have much for swim and dive. I haven't really looked too much into them yet.
Nah. Go win a championship. Sorry.
So, okay. Well, let me get a sip of
Let's do
bourbon.
it.
And we're back. You highlighted that saying, so we're going to jump right to it. The Wayne State women's basketball team, they're currently sitting at 9-3 overall, 4-0 in conference play. Huge game happening on Thursday, January 8th, which is tomorrow at the time of recording, probably today by the time you're hearing this. And they're heading out to Grand Valley. Grand Valley is currently ranked numero uno in all of D2. They are 12-0 in conference, 4-0. I'm sorry, they're 12-0 overall, 4-0 in conference play. No shock. They're very good once again. And their GLIAC wins so far are over Lake Superior State, Saginaw Valley, Michigan Tech, and Northern Michigan. Fun fact here, and you pointed that out during the break here, Sangster. Wayne State is currently tied at the top of the GLIAC conference play, or GLIAC conference standings with Grand Valley, both at 4-0 overall. So yeah, this is a big one.
Yeah, no doubt. Grand Valley, what more can you say? They are still rolling from last year's national championship team. I have not looked to see if they've lost a lot of production or if they're just that good that they can bring in uh, either folks off their bench or folks in the transfer portal. Either way, they're still undefeated going into this game against Wayne State. And Wayne State right now has the opportunity to buck a pretty long-standing trend. We're not going to say it's as bad as, football from the 80s up until 2019, but it's getting close to that. At least in the terms of basketball. The last time Wayne State has won a women's basketball game against Grand Valley was in early 2015 at home, and then you'd have to go back to early 2014 to get that away win. There have been a couple times where it's been close, uh, an overtime game and then that infamous 1 point game
Mhm.
from the 23-24 season that we talked about. But Grand Valley's been steamrolling everybody, and even steamrolling teams that we've been close against, and it is what it is. Uh, they are going to shoot the 3 point a lot. They average about 25 attempts per game, and they shoot it all right, about 30%. Uh, but all around, they just don't want to have the 3 pointers. They want to just get shots up. Right now, they're top 10 in number of field goals per game attempted right now. So, needless to say, Grand Valley is going to be good, and we're just going to see what Wayne State can be. And I'm kind of glad that we get this game at Grand Valley, not necessarily that first game of the season like it was against Saginaw, but a little bit more. Hey, you're back from winter break. You've gotten back more into the swing of things. And at this point, it's going to be a barn burner of a match, I think. And just go out there, see what you can do. And if Wayne State ends up winning, excellent. It's always a great day to beat Grand Valley. If they don't, if they can, I hate the moral victory stuff. But if you can go out there and you can at least hang with them for most of the game, then I think that Wayne State's in an excellent position. I think they should at least be receiving votes right now, not necessarily top 25. Uh, Certainly, if they beat Grand Valley, then that conversation has to be had. But
Yeah,
at this point right now, I think that you're definitely looking to be in that top echelon of GLIAC teams, certainly looking to get an at-large bid. But it starts now, and I'm not going to say it's a must win right now, but you definitely set yourself up for success if you can steal this one on the road against Grand Valley.
yeah, I mean, this one would feel extremely good. And some of the notes that I had on this one, because yeah, some of the stats that you threw out there are just they're just gonna fire the ball. They're gonna shoot it. A lot of threes. All of that stuff is gonna happen. But I do think that Wayne State is a deeper team this season, and I think we have a better ability to defend.
Yep.
So I think overall that gives us a better chance. But I also remember we played Grand Valley 4 times last year, and we struggled to adjust and make any of those games close. So there's a lot of things that have to go right for Wayne State. We can't beat ourselves in this one. Grand Valley is not going to beat themselves. They're
No.
going to beat the people on the other side of the court. So that's what it's going to take. And like I said, you got to put it all together if you want to leave the boonies, that is Allendale, with a win. And I'm with you, Saster. I would be so happy with a win. I'd be happy if we could keep it close at the very least.
Yeah, and the last time we got on Grand Valley is that they have wins over a couple teams that Wayne State has already played: Lake Superior State, Saginaw, Michigan Tech, and Northern Michigan, who Wayne State still has to face uh, later in the season. But going on to Saturday, January 10th, a very, 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 very different game for Wayne State. Still in Grand Rapids and I guess Caledonia technically, but they'll be facing Davenport on Saturday, January 10th. Davenport comes in with a 3-9 record, 1-3 in GLIAC play. They did get a win over Lake Superior State. However, they also have losses against Saginaw Valley, Michigan Tech, and Northern Michigan. Uh, their season is not going how it wants, how they want it to go right now, and they're going to be looking for a win at home against a team that right now they're looking to steal a win against. So for Wayne State, regardless of what happens at Grand Valley, this is one that Wayne State just needs to show out and win.
Yeah, it's this is one of those games that, yeah, regardless of what happens, if you let in my opinion. If you let that Thursday hangover, win or loss, too much into Saturday,
Yep.
that's going to be a problem. Unforced errors, poor shooting at the free throw line. We'll talk enough about that. And getting out rebounded to me will lead to a blemish on the schedule that we don't want. I think we want the win here. Well, of course we want the win. That's a silly thing for me to say, but like that's the definition of, beating yourself. Like we can go and beat this team. That's got to happen. So there, at the very least, we're coming back again with a split conference uh, away slate.
Yeah. And I think it also goes back to something we've talked about in pretty much all the time we've been doing the podcast is this the game that you would want to have on that Thursday, or are you okay with it on that Saturday? Uh, yeah, I mean, no matter what happens against Grand Valley, you're kind of playing. If you'll lose against Grand Valley, we don't want it to happen, but well, yeah, everybody loses against Grand Valley right now. If you win against Grand Valley, that's awesome. Go do it against Davenport. Uh, I can't really remember what we determined is the better one to be, but that's kind of the way I see it right now.
Yeah, it feels like it a lot of times it's like the game that we're expected to win. I generally like that one first. Gives you that little boost. You're feeling good about it. You're away. The stay at the hotel is nicer.
Yeah.
You're a lot happier waking up the next morning. And then you're going into Saturday. In this case, if Grand Valley was on Saturday, it's house money. Again,
Yeah.
all of this is in my opinion. I'm not a coach.
Right.
That's usually the way that I like to think about it. But then the other side of it is like, give me Grand Valley on a Thursday. Maybe the crowd will be a little bit quiet. Everyone's just going to be getting out of work grumpy and not happy. Maybe that's a good time to get them as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fun debate to have, though.
Yeah, and I think the formula changes a little bit when you're facing the number one team. Like, yeah, you definitely don't have that look ahead type deal that you would have, say, if we had played that Davenport on Thursday. Like, oh man, we're gonna look ahead, try and worry about Grand Valley. We'll just deal with Davenport. Well, that's how you get into trouble. Flip side of that is, well, you've dealt with Grand Valley, you've dealt with the number one team in the country. Whatever you see against Davenport, it is what it is. I think you can handle that. So it's always an interesting discussion to have, and it always depends on what teams you're facing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So, best of luck to our basketball teams as they head out west. Hoping for, like I said, at the very least, come back with a split. I'll be very happy. If one of our teams can get those 2 wins out there, I'll be even happier. So, good luck to our basketball teams. And last but not least, really quickly here, just because I know we haven't done a whole lot of
We
digging.
still got
Yeah.
men's basketball. Who
Oh,
forgot?
yeah. I looked right on over it. Yes. Men's basketball, of course, they're playing the same opponents. Surprise, surprise. Yes, for men, they're currently sitting at 5-5 overall, 2-2 in conference play. It is early in the conference season, but we have an absolute log jam in the middle of the standings here. A lot of teams at 2-2, so there's going to be a lot of movement here. Turns out we're playing two teams this coming weekend that are both 2-2 in conference play. So starting out, of course, we already gave it away. The men's basketball team will be taking on Grand Valley, who's 9-3 overall, 2-2 in conference play. Grand Valley has GLIAC wins over Michigan Tech and Lake Superior State, and they have losses against Saginaw Valley and Northern Michigan.
Yeah, unlike Grand Valley's football and women's basketball and just about every single sport they've got, Grand Valley men's basketball is I'll call it a gettable team. They're right there in the middle. Uh, Certainly, if you're a team at the bottom looking up, that's a game that you want to circle. If you're kind of ahead of them and you're looking down, you don't want to overlook it, but it's still Grand Valley and you still want to get that win. Uh, uh, I'd like to see a Wayne State win here. I think, and we'll talk about this at the end, but I think this would be the beginning of Wayne State men's basketball, especially needs to start taking weekend series. And I think it's something we've seen, I believe, definitely last year, and I think even the past couple of years. They would either lose series or they would split them. We'd get a Thursday or a Saturday or flip it around. What I'd really like to see this season is starting to get some of those full weekend series wins. If you could start 2026 off on the right way, get a win over Grand Valley, who right now is a gettable team. And some of their wins are good. They have that win over Michigan Tech. I believe Michigan Tech was a top 25, maybe even top 10 team. going into that game. They also have a win over Lake Superior State. Well, guess what? Wayne State just got a win over Lake Superior State. And then they have, losses to Saginaw Valley, who Wayne State also lost to. Wayne State hasn't played Northern yet. So really interesting dynamic here. I think these two teams are closer in terms of what they can do uh, versus just about any other Wayne State and Grand Valley athletic team out there right now.
Yeah, I went back to the last couple of seasons of conference play for the Wayne State men's basketball team, and I also remember talking about it. I don't think it was last season, but the season before. Like, if this team could just get off the 500, just get over it. We were constantly battling to get to that 500 mark
Yeah.
in conference play. Could not get over it last season. I think we ended up 11-9, so a little bit above it. But I'm with you. I mean, this is a perfect example of this is that type of weekend that if you want to get yourself over that record, 1-1 here is great, but it's right there for the taking to go out there and get both of these wins, get yourself some breathing room. And oh yeah, by the way, then that means, the rest of your conference schedule down the line is a little bit tilted towards the home slate rather than the away slate. So just something to think about that. Yeah, it's a really good point for what we have coming up for this men's basketball team.
Yeah, and on Saturday, January 10th, again, they'll be facing Davenport just like the women's team are. Davenport's men's side, again, is record wise is similar to Grand Valley. They're 8-4, also 2-2 in conference play. They have GLIAC wins over Grand Valley and Lake Superior State, and then they have losses to Michigan Tech and then Northern Michigan. So another similar team, I think, to Grand Valley record wise, and it's again what we said. Try and get those two wins. You definitely want to split on the road, but at some point, being able to get a 2-win weekend is what Wayne State needs to take that next step.
Yep, it'll be very big for them. So, now that I gave all that away, again, good luck to our basketball teams. Swim and dive, Sangster. We have not done much research into the swim and dive team at this point. Now, we know that we're going to be doing that soon because their season's about to really take off. And we're going to be talking about them a lot more. So with that, on Friday, the swim and dive teams will be out at Calvin University, I believe in Grand Rapids proper, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. The Calvin women are number 14 ranked in D3, and the Calvin men are ranked number 10, also in D3, of course. So, I mean, we talk a little bit about, especially in football, where we take on some D3 teams, specifically out of Wisconsin, usually. Some of the higher echelon teams in D3 are very competitive and they compete very highly with some of the D2 squads. So it's definitely one of those, like, just because they're at a division lower does not mean that we're just a step above them. We'll see. This will tell a lot about the Wayne State swim and dive team as we have normally competed against Calvin, at least for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, and for those curious, because it is definitely in Grand Rapids. Uh, if Davenport is just south of the Gerald Ford Airport, Calvin is just north of the airport, between the airport and downtown. So if you're looking to go out to Calvin University for a swim and dive match with Wayne State, just take 96 pretty much all the way up there.
And then you'll be there. And if you want to continue on to the boonies of Allendale, on Saturday, January 10th, both of our Wayne State swimming and dive teams will be taking on Grand Valley. Both Grand Valley teams are ranked number 6 in D2, both men's and women's. So, like, this is some pretty stiff competition we got coming up this weekend, thanks for this team. Like I said, this is going to tell a lot about where are these swim and dive teams at? How do they compete against these two? Can they hold their own? Can they make it close against Grand Valley in their pool? Sounds weird to say that, but we'll see.
Yeah, certainly if anybody's out there for, well, oh no, we play Grand Valley on Thursday. Never mind. That was never mind. Yeah, we'll see what uh we can do against Grand Valley. It's certainly it's been kind of Grand Valley's conference to get the past maybe 10 years or so after Wayne State's big runs uh, around like 2012 or 2011 or so. So yeah, we'll see what Wayne State can do. We know that by GLIAC time, we know that Wayne State's going to be somewhere in the top third of the conference. Uh, but it all starts now to get going for that.
At a different point in my life, Sangster, I make this trip out to the west side. I go to Grand Valley basketball on Thursday. I go to swimming and dive at Calvin on Friday. And we go to basketball in Davenport at Saturday. And we go to Founders every single day. If only. The schedule
Oh,
works out so perfectly that you could just be there the whole weekend.
oh, to be 25 again.
If only. That would be absolutely amazing. Shout out to whoever influenced that scheduling because that is amazing. So,
Yeah, we did not get the benefit of that kind of scheduling back in the day.
no, but if they can keep that going, I'll make that trip one day. I will even give up dry January for one whole weekend if that can happen. So, with that saying, sir, that is actually all that we have now. There's no more sports that we're missing out on, at least that we're aware of. So, with that, we appreciate everybody listening in on episode 115 of the Warrior House podcast.
And remember, it's always a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior.
You froze at one point in the middle.